Hello everyone and welcome to Zero Racing's second race of the season. This is the Wednesday round of Bathurst Race 1. I apologize if the audio is not up to standards. Don't know what's happening. The capping software is being weird. We'll leave it at that. And I'm also a little gassy, not gonna lie. As always with Bathurst, we have the interesting problem of being able to go down the grid properly because of the proximity of the cars. As a result, we have to go through kind of a free cam, walk down the grid. I apologize if it's substandard. It can happen, but we're going to try and do this as best I can. We have a lot of debuting drivers. We have an 18-car grid here at Bathurst. That could get interesting. And we do have a debuting car that we have not seen this season. And it is actually on the pole position. So get ready for that. And just as I start, I get the camera mixed up. Alright. So, on the front row, we have a double debuting front row. It is the Nissan of Renmax Racing, belonging to Grant Patolo, who starts on the front row, along with Darcy Parkinson for Apex Mako Racing in the McLaren 650S. Row 2, all Porsche, although one is a rebadged Porsche as an RUF. Inside, Jason Mons for the Redline team, the Porsche 911, and the RUF of Sox Racing, Alessio De Bonis. Row 3, Martin Lauer on the inside in the Audi R8 for Dynamo Lynx Racing and the Manticore Racing's Mercedes AMG. Manticore up to 2 cars this weekend of Richard DeRoche. Row 4, inside, it's Alexander Hayes in the pink, purple and black Audi for Project Velocity. Joining him is the top Spitfire qualifier, Mike Mark. Project Velocity is also on the inside of row 5. It is 9th place for Stefan Gervais. He's in a special livery for this race. Joining him is the Apex Mako car of Rick Martel, the McLaren 650S. Row 6, all Porsche, is the Artemis Sport Dule Markovic and the Redline car of Mike Magasevich. On row 7, it is Quintus Gillespie representing Vortex Mafia Racing in the sort of yellow and green Porsche there, and joining him is the Corvette of Mark Klapzul for Spitfire. Following that up, it is his Spitfire teammate on row 7, Alan Angel, and joining him is Dean Reimers for Dynamo Lynx Racing. Then on the back row, it's the debuting Joe Miller, who is debuting for the Manticore team, and the unable to post a lap time, Wesley Stokes joins him on the back row. It's going to be interesting to see Stokes try to work his way up from there because we know that he is much faster than that grid position would indicate. So let's get this ball rolling. Starting from pole position is Grant Patolo. He gets away rather slowly. Dean Reimers doesn't get away at all in the background, and Wesley Stokes catches him up. It's going to be a battle between De Bonis and Parkinson into corner 1. Going way wide with Stefan Gervais, and also way wide is Mike Mark. So a little bit of carnage in the background. 18 cars at Bathurst. You got to expect a little bit of contact. But Alessio De Bonis has had a fantastic start and has gotten into lead ahead of Darcy Parkinson, Grant Patolo, and Richard DeRoche. Jason Mons is back in 5th position in the Porsche. Following him, it is Martin Lauer and Alex Hayes in the 2 Audis. 7th place, fantastic start for Mark Klapzul. Amazing start, or that's 8th place, I suppose. 9th place, Gillespie. 10th place belongs to Rick Martel. He is followed by Joe Miller, who had a fantastic start off from the back row to 11th. Mike Magasevich is in 12th position, followed by a gangle of cars of Alan Angel in the mix. Stefan Gervais is in there. Dule Markovic is in there. Markovic getting a little bit close to the wall for comfort. And at the very back, it is Mike Mark and Wesley Stokes. Dean Reimers is in the wall and appears to be unable to continue for Dynamo Lynx. Still in the lead, it is Alessio De Bonis. He is going to be followed by Darcy Parkinson, Grant Patolo, and Richard DeRoche. This would be a big deal for DeBonis if he could keep this lead because his immediate concerns in the championship are not here. Jason Mons is at some point lost out and is no longer with this group. He is back behind Rick Martel, Mark Klapzul, Mike Magasevich, Dule Markovic, Stefan Gervais, Joe Miller is in the mix, followed by Alan Angel, Quintus Gillespie, and Mike Mark. Wesley Stokes is still a fair ways off, and Dean Reimers is back at the start line. DeBonis in the lead. I was saying DeBonis holding this position, you got to realize that neither Parkinson nor Patolo are particularly championship rivals of him. They're making their debuts here. So it's a huge deal if he can hold on to this lead. Not that he's without championship rivals. DeRoche's in the mix there. Martin Lauer, who's not really in the championship hunt right now, but you know he will be. Alex Hayes has been very strong as well and might be trying to make him take that step towards championship contender. Rick Martel is under pressure in 7th place from Jason Mons. Mark Klapzul and Joe Miller rounding off the points-paying positions. Miller is holding up a train behind him. And, whoa! Way off the track goes Dule Markovic. That's going to mess up his Porsche quite a bit. He rejoins ahead of Wesley Stokes, I imagine. Or maybe not. Anyways, DeBonis still in the lead. Leading Parkinson, Patolo, comfortable out there in the RUF engineered Porsche. Heading into the downhill section that begins ends Sector 2 and begins Sector 3. And he contacts the wall! He contacts the wall hard! Parkinson's through. Patolo's through. The car looks dead. DeBonis may have killed the Sox Racing entry. Excuse me. Let's see if we can get a look at the damage to the car. I'm not seeing anything specifically on the outside, but everyone is going through, and he seems unable to get the car going again. And indeed, he will eat the pit stop. So that's going to put Darcy Parkinson in the league, but maybe not for long as Grant Patolo is on the attack in the Nissan. The debuting Nissan GT3 in the Nismo has taken the lead of this race. Debuting driver, debuting car, very powerful car. Now has the lead. Richard DeRoche is in 2nd place, followed by Martin, or in 3rd place, followed by Martin Lauer and Alex Hayes. Hayes trying to get up the inside of his Audi compatriot, but not teammate. This is Project Velocity versus Dynamo Lynx Racing. There may actually not be a more tense rivalry on the track than the Project Velocity Dynamo Lynx interchange battle of the Audis. And for now, Hayes has got the last laugh. Jason Mons has bagged 6th place off of Rick Martel. 8th place for Mark Klapzul. 9th place is now Joe Miller. He's got Quintus Gillespie right behind him. Never mind. Quintus Gillespie says, "Thank you very much. I will take 9th place." And now he will go and try and fight off the Spitfire of Mike Mark. The Spitfire team not having a great day. Mark Klapzul having a pretty respectable day up in 8th place. But Mike Mark currently not in the points. Alan Angel not in the points. Mike Mark looking to fix that as he goes for a move around the outside of Joseph Miller and does it. That earns 10th place for the Corvette. It is Gervais at 12th, Alan Angel 13th, Mike Magasevich 14th, Wesley Stokes 15th. We've had 3 retirements so far. Reimers is out along with DeBonis, and Markovic has parked it. 2 Porsches and an Audi out of the race. Not good for the Audi family. Nissan still in the lead, followed by McLaren, followed by Mercedes. Then it is the 2 Audis of Hayes and Lauer. The Porsche of Jason Mons. Rick Martel in the McLaren, and then Mark Klapzul in the top Corvette. Another Porsche in the points in Gillespie, and another Corvette in the points in Mike Mark. All cars, all makes have a representative in the points. That is pretty key to the parity of Zero Racing in the GT3 class. Gervais, Angel, Magasevich, Stokes, Miller rounding off the field. Still in the lead, it is Grant Patolo in his debut, leading from Darcy Parkinson, a pair of debutants. And Richard DeRoche right now is in for a huge haul of points if he can do something to improve this 3rd place. Alex Hayes is still in 4th place, but Jason Mons is the danger man. He is catching both the Audis and would love a sniff of 4th place to help him with his championship battle. Especially with Alessio DeBonis out of the race. Rick Martel in 7th. Wesley Stokes also not doing very well. Another factor in that title hunt. Mark Labzul is the top silver driver ahead of Quintus Gillespie and Mike Mark. Stefan Gervais is in 2nd place amongst the silvers. Mike Magasevich is in 3rd, or is it Alan Angel? No, Alan Angel has parked it. So the Spitfire Corvette is out. And that does hand 3rd place in the Silver Cup to Mike Magasevich. Only 4 silver drivers are still running. Joe Miller is the other one. Back at the front is still Grant Patolo leading the way. Leading the way from Darcy Parkinson. Leading the way from Richard DeRoche, which is pretty key. Following them is a battle between Alex Hayes, Martin Lauer, and Jason Mons for 4th place. And then it kind of strings out for the next 2 spots. Rick Martel kind of on his own. Mark Labzul kind of is on his own. And then there's a battle going on for 9th between Quintus Gillespie and Mike Mark. Which is currently being won by Gillespie. Stefan Gervais. Mike Magasevich still vauntedly holding off Wesley Stokes. Stokes' Audi has seen some better days. Hard contact with Dean Reimers at the start of the race put him back. Well, they bad qualifying in fairness. He qualified 18th, put him back here. But collision with Dean Reimers at the start has not helped Wesley Stokes' cause. Some serious dicing going on between 2 guys who were actually Saturday teammates with the Falcon Autosports team. Joe Miller rounding off the field in the 2nd Manticore Mercedes. We are on lap 5 now. Grant Patolo still in the lead from Darcy Parkinson. Richard DeRoche looking like a predator back there in the Manticore Mercedes. Martin Lauer has taken Alex Hayes for 4th place and has opened up a bit of a gap, leaving Hayes to combat against Jason Mons, who Lauer has to be seeing as a primary rival in the championship hunt. Stefan Gervais starting to mount a little bit of a charge into Mike Mark and Quintus Gillespie in his Project Velocity Audi. And Wesley Stokes has had it off. Let's have a look at what happened to the other Project Velocity Audi. Just kind of loses the back end. Snaps it around and puts him in the wall. That'll promote Joe Miller to 13th position in his debut. Back at the front, Patolo is still battling with Parkinson. DeRoche kind of hanging back. Or can he not keep with these two? I'm not sure which is the case. Tire wear, of course, is going to be coming into a play at some point in the near future. If not now, we are over halfway done the race. This is the section that the Nissan is very strong in, so I don't suspect Parkinson will have anything for Patolo until we get to the uphill section of the lap. The Renmax car is still leading the way from the Apex Mako and Manticore teams. Much better finance, much more experienced teams than Renmax. Winning here would be a home race for Patolo. He is one of 2 Aussies on the grid today. The other one is right there, stranded at the start-finish line. That is Dean Reimers of Team Dynamo Lynx. In the meantime, the battle is on between his teammate Martin Lauer against Alex Hayes and Jason Mons for 4th place. Been kind of ignoring this battle in favor of looking at the lead, but let's ride with it for a bit. Now, Mons had the speed in qualifying over both the Audis, but a mistake early on has put him behind them, and is the Delta great enough for him to actually get the pass on? Because he has caught them, but catching and passing are two different things. Martin Lauer making a bit of a mistake heading up the hill, and that's going to cost him 4th place to Alex Hayes. Hayes is really starting to establish himself as a potential championship contender, although he gets a little bit of the wall there. In the meantime, Quentin Gillespie has taken 8th place away from Mark Klapzool, but the Dutchman, if we have learned one thing about him, is he will not go quietly into that good night. Mike Mark has actually taken them both, so Mike Mark is up into 8th place, and this is actually now a battle for 9th place. This is Gillespie trying to maintain position rather than taking one. He just simply reversed his role in the Corvette sandwich. And Stefan Gervais might be the big benefactor of this all. Wesley Stokes is in the pits and has retired the Project Velocity Audi. So heading into lap 7, there will be 8 laps. It is still Grant Patolo leading the way from Darcy Parkinson and Richard DeRoche. It's been like this for some time since Alessio De Bonis retired from in front of these gentlemen, and Patolo put the moves on Darcy Parkinson for the lead. Martin Lauer has gotten back in front of the Audi of Alexander Hayes and is back into 4th place. Jason Mons still can't seem to get past the Audis. Still holding in 6th place. By the way, Mons, one of the red line Porsches have survived, where Markovic is retired, De Bonis is retired, and Gillespie is still running, although a beat-up Gillespie in 9th place, that is for sure, for the Vortex Mafia crew. Mark Klapzool still hanging on to reverse grid pole and 10th position ahead of Stefan Gervais. And I don't believe Mike Magasevich or Joe Miller, who are 12th and 13th, are really going to factor into this equation. Klapzool also the leading Silver Cup driver in the field. Patolo barreling down the hill. DeRoche is pulling back into this fight a little bit. In 3rd place in the Manticore Mercedes. He has a lot of grunt, possibly more grunt than either of these cars, though the Nissan is very close, if not greater, in straight line potential. But that's not stopping DeRoche. He's going for the move on the McLaren of Darcy Parkinson, and he's got it done. And now he's on the inside of Grant Patolo. Pushed him a bit wide. Let's have a look at that again. Is this a bit of over-aggression from DeRoche, who rides the curb and forces the Nissan off track? Parkinson inherits 2nd place as a result. And Patolo was unable to hold it. Is going to lose his podium spot, I think, for sure. Yep, there goes Lauer. And Hayes and Mons should be able to rejoin ahead of McLaren of Rick Martel, however. So we're on the final lap. DeRoche has taken the lead, pending any action from the steward's office in regards to that move on Grant Patolo. Will he hang on against Darcy Parkinson? Will a number of people hang on? Because Martin Lauer is now on the podium with Hayes and Mons queued up behind him. Patolo back at 6th. Martel kind of on his own. Mike Mark on his own. Gillespie kind of on his own. Klapzool kind of on his own. And that's because Stefan Gervais appears to have lost really any kind of pace. He was right on the back of the Dutchman and is now quite a ways back. I do not know what happened to him. Joseph Miller still running around in 13th position. Meanwhile, back at the front, it is still DeRoche leading the way from Darcy Parkinson. And you got to think Parkinson wants to get this move done sooner rather than later, because heading into the big straightaways, we talked about it, the Mercedes has a big advantage and showed it last lap over the Mercedes, or over the McLaren of Parkinson. DeRoche in the lead. Parkinson is making a go of it. He's got to the inside, side by side. He's got one turn left. Can he do it? Parkinson goes to the inside, but DeRoche drives around him and will take the victory, pending any action from the steward's office. Also, it looks like a retirement there for Joe Miller at the side of the road, giving his teammate a high five, perhaps. In the meantime, it is going to be third place for Martin Lauer ahead of Alex Hayes and Jason Mons. Then it's Patolo in 6th. He has to wonder what could have been. Rick Martel 7th. Looks like it's going to be Mike Mark who brings home 8th position ahead of Quintus Gillespie in 9th place. Final points paying position and reverse grid pole for race 2. Reverse grid pole for race 2 for Mark Clapp Zool in the Spitfire Corvette. And fresh off, it looks like some front-end trauma, Stefan Gervais is going to bring it home in 11th place. He had an interesting race that you have to feel could have been more than it ended up being. Mike Magasevich is the final warrior to make it home in 12th position for Red Line. The other 6 cars are retired. You can see 2 of them there, Dean Reimers and Joseph Miller. The others are all in the pit lane now. Alan Angel, Alessio DeBonis, Dule Markovic, and it looks like we've lost Wesley Stokes. Maybe they pulled him into the garage rather than sitting in the pit lane. That is race 1 for Bathurst. We'll be back with race 2 in the near future. Hope you enjoyed it, and again, apologies for any audio that sounded kind of subpar.